Well, so, you were lamenting all the people on Friday that were mad at you.
They were mad at me because I didn't pick the Lions to win by enough.
Right, you had them winning.
I go, yeah, because people were calling up, like Chuck Schwarsky and the super fans, the Chris Farley bit. Mini Dick at 100, God 2. And I'm like, guys, you won one playoff game in your life.
Now two.
Now you think you get walkovers in the playoffs?
They were up 14 points in the second half.
Time out. Okay, let's not do semantics. It was tied in the fourth quarter. You scored early. Then you score. Bucks end up scoring.
Yeah.
Get ball back. Chance to tie. Jim. Callers. Oh, by the way, what was the score at halftime?
10-10.
Yeah, because I maybe the 42-3 game I was told about was on Peacock, and I didn't hit the right button.
Yeah, that's a stream exclusive on all channels.
And again, do I think the Lions were the better team?
Yes.
Do I think that they were far less mistake-prone? Absolutely. I mean, shout out not blocking Aiden Hutchinson.
Explain it. The right tackle ignores him. No blocking scheme. Are you leaving him for a tight end or a running back?
It's a mistake, and you made them pay.
Yes.
I think one of the Brian Branch blitzes off the edge is a mistake.
Yeah. How do you not identify him?
They checked to a run right into him.
Well, the one, it was White. He slips and falls, and it's like, oh,
the other one picking him up in the pass pro.
Yep.
Right. So, look, it was Mike Evans tipping a ball sky high. Pick. It
capitalize.
Was Baker, bad read late. It's the mistakes, the penalties. Look how many penalties that Tampa Bay had.
Yep.
Lions are a better team.
Yep.
All I tried to communicate to people is I've watched, A, this is what I do for a living, and B, I can speak from a fan point of view. I've never approached a playoff game with my Giants with anything other than nervousness. I think the minute you start walking around with your cock out, like you're just going to go in and sandblast the team, you're showing me you don't know dick about football. You are telling me, almost like you're wearing a sign that says, hi, I'm an asshole.
What I said to you is the team needs to take him seriously. The fans don't. You can have fun. We're not used to this. Have fun. We're going to beat them 100-0. Sweet. Because the Lions, there were football reasons to believe that they were going to win. It was just a question of how much.
As it relates to the game, I'll tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like the Bucs' game plan on either side of the ball. It was very bizarre to me that you go from being a team where we're going to play a ton of man. We have Levante David, who's one of the 3 best coverage linebackers in football. We're going to blitz. And they just turned it into rush 4, now they blitzed a little.
They did.
But a lot of zone. And linebackers bailing 15 yards out, and Goff looks around and goes, 8 yards. 6 yards.
But Mike, the dirty little secret is they blitz a lot. They don't pressure a lot. So they have to take chances and guess and try to throw.
Thought they were conservative.
But that doesn't mean they're going to be schematically sound because they have to cheat. Because they don't get pressure enough.
The other thing is offensively, I don't understand when you walk in, and we'll talk about this Lions and Niners, I don't understand what you're protecting when you're a touchdown underdog. You know, Todd Bowles, 4th and 3. I need you to go for it.
Or how about, even in his own territory, only a yard?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a playoff game.
You got to go for it.
Yeah.
You know, Todd Bowles, what was the install where you said, look, we are not going to take shots down the field? Now,
up until that, with the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half, other than that, they didn't really challenge.
Mind you, he still threw for 350.
Now, how much of this, we have a note on Lions defense that you and I have talked about. How much of this is the Lions defense, while not great, knows who they are? Six straight 100%. Weeks holding opponents under 24 points. And it's not like they're shutting teams down. They're moving the ball, but a lot of it's empty yards because they bow up, they get pressure, they get stops.
Well, if you're never ahead by enough to just play prevent, I don't want to use empty yards. I agree strategically that they are, it's not that they don't want to get stops between the 20s. It's that, as you put it, they understand who they are. They know they're going to make you go 10, 11, 12 plays.
Yep.
And when we get in the red zone, we're going to bow up. Or, look, they remind me, it was funny, you had the new school comp and I had the old school. I remember being in college, the greatest show on turf, the Rams. Their offense was great. Lions' offense is great.
Yeah.
Their defense sucked. But what the Rams defense did, forced turnovers. Now, the Lions, it's not the turnovers as much as havoc. They'll get the sack. They'll get the penalty.
Tip pass, interception.
Or they do get the turnover.
Yeah.
That's just, you said Saints with Drew Brees. Shout out Pierre Thomas. Great pull by you.
And their defense.
Yes.
Guys like Tracy Porter.
Yeah. Make the big moment.
Pick in the interception. They forced a ton of turnovers. That was not a good Saints defense.
Now, I can
But if you get timely pressure and turnovers.
I can see a scenario. This is why
And I wasn't calling you old, by the way, with your greatest show on turf. It's not that dated.
I did. No, I did. It's a reference from over 20
years
ago.
You weren't quoting like Cheers or something.
No, but then you told me, well, Mike, I was 7, and then I felt like shit. So my point is, look, I think the biggest thing for me, it's why I don't get seduced by stuff. Like the fun word doesn't equate in any of this. My fun is, I love the content, but I don't do yee-yees and ha-has. Jim, I could see a scenario this team is a hell of a lot better next year. So it's
upgrades in personnel.
So when I see this room to grow, it gives me what I think is an accurate accounting of who they are right now. Is it possible they do this? Of course it is. You're one of the last 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's their time. Like, think about I add a lead dog corner and a bookend pass rusher to Aiden Hutchinson next year. Do you understand how good this team could be?
Yeah. Now you keep the O-line stocked, and that offense doesn't drop off, and you're right, you're an even better team next year.
They could be so much better.
On defense, they can't do it all, so they've allowed some stuff over the middle.
Yep.
Well, who loves attacking the middle? San Francisco. We'll get to it.
And we'll get to it because, again, the Debo thing, this is where fans...
50-50 according to Schefter on
Yeah,
Debo.
and they don't know their elbow from their asshole because, Niners were infinitely... Okay, take Amon-Ra St. Brown out of a game 9 snaps in. What will your install look like?
Did you see they ran Jawan Jennings in the Debo role? And there's no way he's ever... That was a we love this play.
You may as well have put Nona Rita out there. I'm like, that is never working.
But that shows, like, on the fly, this is all we can do.
Shanahan talked about it. He goes, what you guys don't realize is 9 plays into a game using the wristbands, we have taken so much of what's on that band, and it's not usable. Debo is the straw that stirs the drink. And again, well, Ayuk had 1,300 yards.
But it's all complimentary.
Because Debo's motion, where Debo lines up, I am actually of the belief that where Debo lines up in motions is every bit as, if not more important than, where McCaffrey is. You know where McCaffrey is.
Standing
it's a
next
matter
to the quarterback
of
or behind him. Yep.
With Debo, he could be backfield, he could be circle motion, jet motion, or bunch formation. So it's when you take that away in game.
Yeah, on the fly.
That's okay. So that was one. The other, Purdy's, is there something with the hand?
There might be, and he clearly struggled in the rain. Before we get to the other NFC game, last note on the Lions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take you into the Niner game.
You're good. Jared Goff. Better now than he was in L.A., no questions asked.
I've been trying to say that.
I know.
You know what it is? The guy in L.A. was a boy. This is a man. And you only get that through growth and maturity and time. I mean, I know it's crazy, but we forget. I forget. These guys,
do too.
like a guy like Penei Sewell's barely old enough to have a drink, and he's
23.
the best right tackle in football. He needed time. This is his 8th year in the league.
And it is a reminder, guys get better.
They can.
I mean, they can. Not always. It's not always linear. But we label a guy, and I'm guilty of it, label a guy not good enough to win a Super Bowl because of what he did in L.A., and you got to give a guy room to grow and give credit to the Lions for giving him that space to grow.
I agree.
Protecting him, installing an offense that benefits him.
Change of scenery can be a powerful thing, man. And I know fans don't like hearing it, but sometimes you have a guy who you think is good, and you go, look, the dude needs to change scenery. It's time to go.
One of the most...
Matt Stafford.
Well, I was going to say another one is Drew Brees. Change of scenery. And again, I want to be very careful. I don't want to go overboard after being so critical of Goff that now I'm labeling him Drew Brees to make amends. I'm just pointing out he's better than I thought. There are comps for this. Mike, they're going to pay him.
I want to say this on your behalf, but it's just something where I said this on the air last week. I go, I have to move away from you people. And Rico's like, who? I go, everyone. I said, I need a cave or a beach because I don't suffer fools. And we as a society are fools.
Largely, yeah.
This gotcha society we reside in, like, Jim, you had an opinion. It's not one I agreed with, but it's a conversation. You go, Mike, I don't really want to pay Goff. I like the rookie QB model. No stress. Now, ball breaking is one thing. You know what?
I deserve that. That's fine.
No, but my point is, you know what I'll never need from you? Well, you need to apologize for that opinion. Or here's the other thing. You don't need to lay on any fucking sword. Oh, well, you can't root for Goff.
That stuff's lame.
My ass, you can't root for Goff. We have gotten to a point now where it's tell me I'm pretty or you're an idiot. It's the cable newsification of sports, and it's dangerous. Jimmy had an opinion. I don't necessarily disagree with your opinion on surface. Well, my disagreement was Goff's better than you're giving him credit for.
100%. Going back, just the genesis of this, Lions had the capital to consider the alternative. They no longer do. They're going to be picking at the end of the first round. And their quarterback got better. And they're staring down that the scale is tipped the other way. What's best for the team now is getting favorable terms, supporting him, keeping the O-line in front of him, and you're going to win a lot of football games.
You just got to pay him something with a 4 in front of it, not a 5.
I have a fear that it is.
Okay,
it's going to be a 5.
Jim,
and that doesn't mean it's team crippling. You're just going to have to be more creative.
Yeah, and ultimately, you'd sell your soul to the devil to hoist the Lombardi. So whatever happens, like I always love now, you get people who want to, what about the Ravens and the Flacco deal? Do you think they care?
They won a Super Bowl.
They have the Lombardi. Like if I told you the Lions would win the Lombardi trophy and then vaporize, it would be the end of what is it? Not Guardians of the Galaxy. The Avengers, where the guy snaps his fingers and Spider-Man disappears.
Yeah.
If you won the Lombardi and Roger Goodell goes,
half the roster.
And all of a sudden, Dan Campbell goes into the ether. You'd be okay with it. So just don't worry about it.
Okay. That was my last note. Oh, one other thing, because it relates to this podcast.
Sure.
My brother texted me today, and he goes, I saw this. He was scrolling like Reddit or whatever, and it was the gif of the Kool-Aid that came from this podcast, me drinking the pitcher. He had never seen it before. I told you he's not a big sports fan. He goes, this is cool. You're like everywhere drinking the big pitcher of Kool-Aid. That's from this podcast. That's from us having the mics in the old studio last year.
It just shows you there's such a big world out there.
I know.
And it's like so many people don't like the things that we like that you lose sight of it.
I'm like, dude, Sean, we cut that like a year and a half. He didn't care. That's the first time he had seen it. But that's the fun that we get to have on this.
It is. And then again, I have no problem with fun. I just have a problem with foolish.
I know.
Not you. I'm saying people. Christ, at 52-6, this is a layup. I go, all right. Let me know when your head comes out of your ass.